So let's discuss what is typecasting and what is the purpose of typecasting in real life scenarios. So what is typecasting? Typecasting is when you assign a value of one data type to another data type. In C#, there are two types of casting. One is implicit typecasting and another one is explicit typecasting. Implicit casting, it is an automatically process which is done by compiler and converting a smaller type to a larger type size. Implicit typecasting is handled by the compiler. The compiler determines whether a type conversion can be performed safely at compile time only. So as we discuss, in implicit casting, we are converting smaller type to a larger type size. So here, this is the sequence. We can assign a character value to a integer value and integer value to long and long value to float and float value to double. So we can assign smaller type size to a larger type size. It is also possible we can directly assign integer type variable or integer value to double value because double is bigger in size as compared to integer variable. So let's understand with this example. So here we have declared one variable myInt and the data type is integer. Now we are assigning myInt to mydouble. So mydouble variable is a double data type. So it will taken care by compiler only. So it is an automatic casting done by compiler only. So myInt value is assigned to mydouble. It is possible because integer data size is smaller than double data size in memory. So here with the help of console.writeLine, we are displaying the value of myInt as well as mydouble. That is nothing but 9. So let's understand this with one more example. So here we have declared one class program, and in class program there is a static void main method. So here we have declared one myInt variable and assigning a value to myInt variable and simply assign that value to mydouble variable. So this is automatic casting into double. It is done by compiler only, but here we can see that myInt is an integer type variable and we are assigning a larger value which is out of the range of integer data type. So at compile time only, it will throw the exception. So here console.writeLine, we are printing mydouble and myInt value to console. But as I said already, at compile time, it will give out of range exception because this value cannot be converted to int because it is a out of range of integer data type. So it will throw exception at compile time only. So the next one is explicit casting. Explicit casting is a manual process and converting a larger type to a smaller type size. Explicit casting is checked at runtime by CLR. That is nothing but common language runtime. So as we discussed, implicit casting is done automatically by the compiler. And in explicit casting, it is a manual process. So we are converting larger data type into the smaller data type. So double variable can be assigned to float variable can be assigned to long and respectively int and char. So it's in a reverse order of implicit casting. So here we are assigning larger data type to a smaller data type. Explicit casting must be done manually by placing the type in parentheses in front of the value. So here we have declared one variable which is of type double, that is mydouble, and the value is 9.78. And now we are trying to assign that value to integer variable, that is myInt. So as we discussed, explicit casting must be done manually by placing the type in parentheses in front of the value. So here we have mentioned the parentheses and in which data type I want to convert this value, that I have to mention over here. So it's called as manual casting, which will convert double value to int value. So now I am printing that information on command prompt. So the output would be 9.78 for mydouble variable. But here we are converting mydouble to integer variable, as we know, integer variable do not support decimal values, so it will take only the integer part of it. So console.writeLine, my int will print only the 9 value and it will remove 0.78. So what are the explicit type conversion methods? In explicit casting, it is also possible to convert data types explicitly by using built-in methods. So C# had provided some inbuilt classes and methods to convert the data from one data type to another data type, such as convert.toBoolean, convert.toDouble, convert.toString, convert.toInt32, and toInt64, that is nothing but long. In C#, the convert class provides methods for explicit casting between different data types. It's particularly useful for cases where you need to convert data between incompatible types from string to int. So unlike direct casting, which can only be done between compatible types, converts allow you to handle more complex conversions and also provides options to handle null values without throwing exception. So let's understand this with example. So here we have declared one myInt variable, which is of type integer. Now there is one more double variable and myBool variable, which is of type double and bool respectively. And now I am printing that information on command prompt. So convert.toDouble myInt. So it will convert this value into the double with the help of convert class and toDouble method. So this myInt is converted into the double data type. Here on command prompt, we are printing my double value and converting it into the integer with the help of toInt32 method in convert class. So it will convert double value to int value. So the next one is convert.toString, that is myBool. So here we can see myBool is a Boolean value and we are converting that value in string. So this true would be converted into the string data type. So let's understand implicit conversion and explicit conversion with the help of code. So in implicit conversion, as we are aware, we can assign a value of smaller data type to longer data type variable. So it is taken care by compiler at the compile time only. So now I am declaring one variable integer x is equal to 10. And now I am trying to assign that value to long variable X. So it will not throw any exception here at the time of compilation as well as at the time at runtime as well. So yes, build is succeeded and it is not throwing any exception. So what is the range of int variable? So let's print that range on console int data type and mean value plus also int dot max value. So it will print a range of integer data type on console. Similarly, we are printing long range on console. Long is a data type. So let's run this application. So now x is equal to 10. On command prompt, this is the range of integer data type. It will start from this to this. This is the smallest value we can assign to integer variable, and this is the largest value we can assign to int variable. But anything out of this range, it will throw the exception at compile time only. Also, let's print the value of long data type. So this is the range, this is the minimum value for long, and this is the maximum value for long data type. So let's try to assign a value which is out of the range of integer data type. Now it will throw the exception, cannot implicitly convert type long to int, and explicit conversion exists. Are you missing a cast? So it is a out of range value of integer data type. That's why it is throwing the exception at compile time only. Okay, now we are trying to assign that value to long type. So let's debug the application again. It will not throw any exception over here. Yes. Now long variable has that same value of X variable. So it is possible. So it is a implicit type conversion, and it can be taken care by compiler only at the time of compilation. So now we will discuss the explicit conversion. So here I have declared one mylong variable, and I am trying to assign that mylong variable to integer type variable. So as we discussed, long is a bigger than integer data type. So we are assigning that value to myInt. If I am not doing any type casting over here, then it will throw the exception at compile time only. Cannot implicitly convert type long to int, and explicit conversion required. So in parenthesis, I have to mention that in which format or in which data type I want to convert this variable. So I will write over here integer data type, because I want to convert this information into integer data type. So it will not throw any exception here. So now my int is giving some random value. Why it is happened? Because this value is out of range of integer data type. So let's minimize this value in between the range of integer data type. Yes. Now it's showing the same value as mylong, which is of long data type. So it is possible. So at runtime, it will be converted into the required data type. So implicit conversion is happen at compile time, and explicit conversion is happen at runtime. And this can be taken care by compiler, and explicit conversion is taken care by runtime environment, that is by CLR. So in real life scenario, suppose we are taking the input from customer on command prompt with the help of console.readline method. In that case, whatever input is provided by customer, it would be taken as string variable. So suppose let's take the input from user, enter any digit. So in X or int input is equal to console.readline. So with the help of console.readline method, we are taking the input from user from command prompt when we run this application. But right now it's throwing the exception at compile time only. So it means that console.readline method returns or accept the string data type. Yes, it is a string data type, and we are trying to convert this value or assign that value to integer data type. To avoid this, let's make this value or make this type to data type string. Now it will not throw any kind of exception over here, and it will allow to accept the user input from user. So yes, it is successfully compiled. Now suppose I have to do some operations or calculations on this user input. So for that reason, I need to convert this input variable into the integer data type. So int result is equal to input. So as we are aware, input variable has a string data type. So we cannot directly convert that value to or assign that value to integer data type. So let's use the class convert dot to int32 method. Now this value is converted into the integer data type. Result. So it will not throw any exception at compile time as well. But suppose user had entered some wrong value which is not compatible to integer data type. Suppose user had entered some string value like this, test or hello. So it will not throw any exception at compile time. So at compile time, compiler will not check what type of input user will assign to this variable, and that can be converted into the integer data type result variable. So in this scenario, at runtime, it will throw the exception. So let's run this application again. Enter your digit. So here we are asking user to enter any digit. Let's run. I am assigning 52 or taking the value which is of type integer only. It is converted into the integer type and it will not throw any exception. But what if user enter wrong value which is of string data type? So let's debug it again. I am again asking user to enter any value over here. So now I am entering hello world. So now the input contains hello world value, and now I am trying to convert that hello world value to integer data type. So it will throw the exception at runtime. That is, the input string hello world was not in a correct format. So hence it is proves that in explicit conversion is happen at runtime and handled by the common language runtime, that is CLR, and implicit conversion is taken care by compiler only. So again in further code, we have declared one number string variable, which is of string data type and assigning 1, 2, 3 value to it. So as it is a digit value, so it can be converted into the integer data type. So it will not throw any exception over here. So yes, number string contains 1, 2, 3 value, and we are converted that value to int data type with the help of toInt32 function, which is available in convert class. So let's go to definition of convert class. So this is the class which is provided by the .NET framework only. This is static class convert, which contains different methods like convert to int32. So these are the data types or available methods: to int64, to uint64, to boolean, to int32. So these are the methods available in convert class. So why convert class is required? If we are also do the explicit conversion with the help of parentheses. So in real life scenario, it might be possible that user or our system accepts the null value and we are trying to convert that value into the integer data type or long type. So now I am assigning integer value to object variable and let's run this application. Now it will not throw any exception and now D contains 456 value. But what if we are assigning null value to object variable? So it will not throw an exception at compile time, but it will throw the exception at runtime. Yes, object reference not set to an instance of an object. So to avoid such kind of scenario in real life applications, so for that reason, .NET had provided convert class. So let's, with the help of int32 function, I am trying to convert this value to integer data type. So toInt method converts the value of the specified object to 32-bit signed integer, returns a 32-bit signed integer equivalent to a value or 0 if value is null. So it will not throw an exception at runtime because this value is null. So it will try to convert that value into the integer data type. Instead of throwing the exception, it will assign a default value that is 0 to integer data type. Yes, now D contains 0. Suppose this is Boolean value. True. And I am trying to convert to Boolean. So now D also contains true only. But what if value is not compatible to Boolean data type? In that scenario, it will throw the exception. Yes, string was not recognized as a valid Boolean value. And what if the value is null? In that scenario, it will not throw an exception, but it will set default value to D variable. That is nothing but false. Because we are using convert class to convert the data type into the Boolean data type. So yes, now it will not throw any exception and the default value is set to Boolean variable, that is false. So this is called as explicit conversion. So implicit conversion is happen at compile time only and explicit conversion is at runtime.